Like what does that
mindset,
okay.
first and foremost. So my brand is called the Kash Method. It's a different kind of strong, train, mind, body, follow. So really breaking away from societal norms and the pressures to have to look like what social media tells us, and really owning your body, right? Loving the skin you're in from the inside out. So really helping women that way.
Wait, so first of all, yesterday when I saw you walk in, the first thing I thought, I was like, man, she is glowing. I was like, I need to ask her what she got on her skin. Then today when you came in, same thing. And I was like, wait, something else is going on here. So then I realized, so when you said just that it's a body and kind of the inside out piece, it makes sense because something was on you yesterday and I couldn't figure it out. And I was like, man, it's so different. She just came in with this glow. I was like, is that skin product? But I knew it wasn't it. So how do you then find women to work with? Because you have something on you. When you walk into a space, something's on you. How do you connect?
All right, so y'all do the interview. I'm getting out of the picture.
Honestly, it's word of mouth for real. Like that's how my business started. So like backtrack on me, wellness found me in a depression, right? It was like a last resort type thing because I knew that I was on a fast track to nowhere, right? Finding happiness in the inside of a bottle, drinking a lot and things like that. So it's like, all right, and so I just started putting one foot in front of the other. I kept my vision close. That's what I tell my ladies too, right? Many times like, I'm going to do this wellness thing and we want to tell like our best friends or something. And maybe that's not at the forefront, so they get discouraged. But one thing people saw was just the fruits of my discipline. And it was like, Nadia, you went from partying until 3 a.m. to waking up at 3 a.m. And honestly, like you said, it was like, there's just something about you. And, whatever your faith is, that's fine. But I really believe it's that calling, right? It's a chance for me to help minister in a way, you know what I mean? So that's really, and I love it. I'm like, all right, God, if I can just help one woman truly smile from the inside out. Because I believe, ladies, when a woman is empowered in her health legacy, a generation is transformed, right? Like I was able to help my mom release 40 pounds, help my sister who struggled forever release 40 pounds, right?
And
my
that's
niece
so important
looking at me. So.
Yeah, no, and that's so important to do, especially in the Latino and Black communities, right? Because
important.
Well, like I didn't eat vegetables until I was in my 20s, right? The vegetables, whatever was in the salsa.
Right.
And then it was always these fad diets. And so, because I went through a very similar journey. Well, now, granted, I haven't carried my 20 pounds.
You better hold 20 pounds. You look good, girl.
But, I'm the most joyful I've been because, like, my wellness is more like in a spiritual type way and it's all encompassing. Yes. Where I don't have all these, like, negative demons in my head anymore. So that's so amazing and so needed in today.
Absolutely. I love that you brought that up, right? True wellness is a full picture, physical, mental, emotional, financial, relational, spiritual, right? And so I think what I tell my ladies all the time is so often you see someone, you're like, oh, #body goals. Okay. But you don't know what's going on behind those closed doors. You don't know what she's dealing with on the inside. So are you willing to take the body and everything else that she's carrying, all those invisible pounds and the invisible baggage, and to pause for a second, you know what I mean? So comparison, we hear it all the time, is truly, truly the thief of joy, right? And so once we can start to break away from that, freedom happens. You know what I mean? We get comfortable with ourselves.
And there's something that, so for me, similar to Liz, I had a heck of a weight loss journey. But you're right. It really started about thinking about the mental piece. One, it started with the discipline. Yes. Right? It was like, I had forgot to stop telling my body yes. Right. Because I had gotten to a point that yes was like, no, I'm going to do it. I worked hard. I did this. Yes, 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 yes. But the discipline to tell my body no, and then have integrity around my own right? And hold other people integrity. So once again, it started healing myself and then other relationships to hold people accountable for their word. Right. So that inside out really does help. But then also, adding fasting in there. Fasting to tell my body, once again, no means no. Right. Also being very conscious and putting boundaries up and telling other people, hey, I can't eat.
People like, I'm not doing that right now. I'm being a little more firm. We get into a room and we're like, we're just YOLO. Like, YOLO.
YOLO gets you this big.
I'm curious, like, what do you tell people who are kind of skeptical about, like, why it is so important to have this health wellness of your body, like where they're like, well, I can't wake up at 4 a.m. and go for a run, or I can't, eat vegetables, or I can't do this. What do you tell women who have that mindset.
Right. Couple things. I say we either invest now or pay later, right? And we have to get in a non-negotiable mindset. But I also give them a visual. If we were, whatever car we had when we first got our license, whether 60s, whatever that looks like, if that was the only car that you could have for the rest of your life, how would you take care of it? Right? And so then I say, well, ladies, that's our body. You know, God has given us one beautiful, amazing physical vessel. We can't go to Apple and upgrade. We can't go to the dealership and trade it in. And so we just have to be intentional. And intentionality doesn't mean 0 to 100 real quick. That's not attainable nor sustainable. Hence the reason why diets fail people. So we look at small changes, right? If someone's on the couch and not used to drinking water or eating vegetables, I'm not going to say, hey, drink a gallon of water and work out 5 times a week. It's not possible. Let's focus on waking up, taking that inner shower with 8 ounces of water, get a couple gratitude statements in there.
Come on.
I love that gratitude.
Walk around for 10 minutes, get some fresh air, get some sun, build your immune system, because that makes it, because here's the thing, they're not overwhelmed when they hear those changes. It builds confidence because they're being committed, and that's what fuels consistency. And when we're consistent, results happen.
And then you're just building on top of other things that, because I really do believe that our bodies, especially women's bodies, are incredible. The things that we can do. I mean, I've had 2 children. I'm like, and my husband's 6'2". So the fact that I've carried his babies in this little body is quite incredible.
Don't judge him like that. Don't play my spine like that. Come on now, I gotta fight for this. Don't let him talk to you about that.
I do pee when I laugh, so you know he's done that to me. We're adding that in the podcast.
But I do want to ask you a question, because this is one of those things that Liz and I had a lot of conversation about before we did the podcast. Like, I'm a person of faith, and in this vulnerability when you lead with your faith, what really allowed you the permission and just really just embody it in the work that you're doing, because you talk about it so openly.
Absolutely. Yes, I love that question. So it's a different kind of strong was birthed in a place where I was literally in the gym. I was ready to quit because, again, wasn't able to do a push-up. I didn't look like what I saw on social media. It was right around the time when I gotten saved, and scripture hugged me close that night, and it said, in your weakness, my strength is made perfect, right? And that the Lord's grace is sufficient. So from that, I said, all right, Jesus, it's me and you. It's a different kind of strong. Train the mind, because that scripture, that truth helped me to alter my stinking thinking. The body follows. And from that moment on, it was my thing. I would always say that. And then people say, well, what is a different kind of strong? And then I would let them in. And I said, well, even if our faiths don't look the same, it doesn't matter, but we have to get anchored in something bigger than us.
Come on now. That's my favorite. First of all, that's my favorite verse. See, the God know he's talking to me. You better go in. I hear you. And for those of y'all who are not personal faith, y'all know how I feel about that. It's like whatever you need to connect to, whether it's your faith or your purpose or your vision or your family or whatever it is, let it stand alone and be an individual belief. So it doesn't have to be controlled by anything else but whatever it is that you are in your moment of your weakness and you're most excited, that you can go to that place within you. So whatever that is, because people, sometimes they be like, oh, you always talk about your faith. I'm talking about my faith because it took me so long to get that comfortable to say it out loud, because I used to pray in the dark, right? You know what I mean? Right. But one last thing before we close out, because we know you have to go, but when you think about coaching, what was important for you to make sure every coach walked away with, so that when you look at their work, your legacy was fulfilled?
Yeah, similar to what you just said, it took me so long to get here. And I know I'm not the only one that struggles or still struggle, right? And so I think I tell myself is I have a voice to change the nation. I'm going to stand up even if my knees are buckling. And so I want each woman that I go across to feel that same way. And also too, we're each connected to a generation. So it's our responsibility to stand up in that, right? And leave our mark, so that way when I'm gone, long gone, that the world has shifted in some way, shape, or form based on, the purpose that just is firing inside of me.
And you can't ignore those purposes.
You can't ignore it. You cannot ignore it. And I just, like you said, there's something so beautiful about women. We are unrepeated miracles. And, no body literally is the same, right?
Yeah.
Fitness is not one size fits all. Wellness is not one size fits all. So I'm just helping people find what their fit is.
And it's individual. Because it's an individual journey. It's your own journey. And you need someone to have an accountability partner. So that's incredible.
Absolutely.
This is such a moment.
I know, right? It's a moment. But before you leave, make sure you tell the listeners your name, the name of your company, and how to find you.
Absolutely. So my name is Nadia Kashouh, Coach Nadia affectionately.
Yes, Coach.
My company is the Kash Method, and you can find me at Nadkash, NADKASH, on all social media platforms.
All right.
Thank you so much.